My fiancée confessed she only dated me for a green card, so I canceled our wedding a week before the big day and told her to start over without me. I, 28M, met Sarah, 26F, at a mutual friend's housewarming party 2 years ago in San Diego. She was charming, beautiful, and had the kind of laugh that made you want to tell more jokes just to hear it again. Sarah had recently moved to the US from Brazil on a student visa and was doing her master's in international business. I worked as a software developer, fairly introverted, and honestly, never thought someone like her would even notice me. But she did. She told me later she liked how genuine I seemed. We bonded over movies, long walks on the beach. Yeah, we actually did that, and shared late-night tacos from that tiny place on 5th and B. Everything felt so easy with her. By the 3rd month of dating, we were inseparable. My friend said I was glowing. My mom adored her. She brings you out of your shell, she'd say. I agreed. About a year into dating, her student visa was set to expire, but she managed to get a work visa through an internship she landed at a logistics company. Still, I remember the anxiety in her voice when she talked about the uncertainty of staying in the US long term. We were lying in bed one night, and she said, half joking, maybe I'll just marry you and get a green card. We both laughed. I didn't think anything of it. Fast forward to 6 months ago, I proposed. Nothing too fancy, just the two of us at Torrey Pines during sunset. She cried, said yes, hugged me so tight I could barely breathe. It was one of the best moments of my life. We started planning a small wedding, just family and close friends. I even started looking into buying a townhouse. It felt like life was finally coming together. She moved into my apartment full-time a few weeks after the engagement. That's when little things started to feel different. She was still loving, but distracted. Her internship ended, and her company didn't sponsor her for an H-1B, which stressed her out. I suggested she take a break, that we could manage with just my income until after the wedding. She agreed, but something in her eyes made me uneasy. She looked guilty. Then came the visa stuff. She asked me if I could start filing paperwork for a fiancé visa to make things faster after the wedding. I wasn't familiar with immigration law, but I said sure, why not? I figured that was just what couples did. She became very involved in the legal process, more than the wedding itself, honestly. At one point, she seemed more excited about submitting the I-130 than choosing a venue. I laughed it off. I was too caught up in my own daydreams about our life together to ask questions. Until 2 weeks ago, we were doing a final check of our guest list when she looked at me with a strange expression. Her eyes were red like she'd been crying. She said we needed to talk. And then, she dropped the bombshell. She told me that when she first started dating me, it was for a green card. She'd been worried about her visa expiring, and someone had joked at a party about marrying an American. I didn't mean for it to become serious, she said. But then I actually fell in love with you. I couldn't speak. My throat felt like it was closing. She kept talking. She said she thought I deserved to know before the wedding, that she didn't want to start our life together based on a lie, even if she truly loved me now. All I could do was sit there, staring at her, trying to figure out whether the last 2 years of my life were real, or if I'd just been someone's backup plan. After she dropped the truth on me, the room was dead silent. We were supposed to be finalizing RSVPs, talking about table arrangements, and whether my cousin should be allowed to bring his chaotic girlfriend. Instead, I sat across from the woman I was about to marry, listening to her admit that what started between us wasn't real, at least not at first. I didn't plan on falling for you, she kept saying. But I did. I swear I did. I was trying to process 1,000 things at once. Her confession hit me like a slow-moving car crash, not sudden and violent, but prolonged and horrifying in its own way. I wanted to be angry. I wanted to scream or storm out. But mostly, I felt hollow. I finally managed to ask, if I wasn't a US citizen, would you have ever looked at me twice? She didn't answer right away. That pause hurt more than anything. She eventually said, I don't know. Probably not at first. I nodded slowly. There it was. The truth I didn't want but needed. I told her I needed some space, and I left. I just walked around the neighborhood for hours, no destination. At some point, I found myself in my car in a grocery store parking lot, just sitting there. I felt like a fool. All those little moments I cherished, our anniversary dinner, the time she cried when I was sick, how she decorated our place with photos of us. I started second-guessing all of it. Was it all part of her plan? Or had she genuinely changed? When I got back home, she was curled up on the couch, eyes swollen. She looked at me like she didn't know if I was about to end everything or forgive her. I know what I did was wrong, she whispered. I never meant to use you. It started that way, yes, but everything changed. You have to believe me. I told her I couldn't just forget this. Trust was everything to me, and she broke it. But then came the twist I didn't expect. She offered to call off the wedding herself. She said, if you don't think you can ever trust me again, I'll go. I won't hold it against you. I'd rather leave than trap you in something that makes you question your worth. And I believed her. For the first time that night, I believed her. We spent the next couple of days barely speaking. She stayed in the guest room. I went to work pretending everything was fine. I canceled a couple of our vendors, just in case. My best friend Mark, who's known me since high school, was the only one I confided in. He didn't hold back. Man, he said, it doesn't matter if she loves you now. She played you. For 2 years. That's a massive red flag. I hated that he was right. But I also hated the idea of throwing everything away. I started reading up on marriage-based green card fraud. I realized the system is flawed, but also that relationships can start imperfectly and still be real. I joined a couple of online forums where people shared similar experiences. Some had happy endings, some didn't. Meanwhile, Sarah didn't pressure me. She didn't try to win me back with gifts or fake apologies. She gave me space, even though I could see it was killing her. She even told her mom, who was supposed to fly in the next week, not to come, just in case. And now, with only a week left before the wedding date, I still don't know what I'm going to do. 6 days before the wedding, I woke up at 3 a.m. and sat in the kitchen, just staring at the fridge. The house was dead silent, except for the occasional creak of the pipes. Sarah hadn't spoken much since her confession. She kept to herself, cooked for herself, didn't touch any of the wedding stuff. It was like we were two ghosts sharing the same space. That morning, she walked in while I was still sitting there. She didn't say anything. She just poured herself a glass of water and leaned on the counter. Her eyes were swollen again. I think she barely slept these past few nights too. I'm not going to fight you on this, she finally said. You deserve someone who didn't come into your life with an agenda. I didn't say anything right away. Then I asked her a question that had been burning inside me since her confession. When did it stop being about the green card? She didn't hesitate. About 4 months in. After that camping trip in Big Sur. That's when I realized I actually wanted a life with you. Not just a life in America. I remembered that trip. It was cold and muddy, and we argued about setting up the tent. But that was also the night we stayed up under the stars, talking about our childhoods and our worst fears. It had felt real. So maybe she wasn't lying. But was that enough? The wedding was scheduled for Saturday. By Wednesday, I had canceled most of the vendors. My mom was furious. This is your life, not a soap opera, she said. You can't just walk back into a marriage that started with a lie. But here's the thing. No relationship is perfect. People make mistakes. And yeah, this one was huge, but I couldn't shake the feeling that she genuinely regretted it. She hadn't begged, hadn't manipulated me. She gave me the choice to leave. That mattered. Friday evening, I asked her to take a walk with me. We walked along the same stretch of beach where I'd proposed. The sun was low, the air breezy. I told her everything. How betrayed I felt, how confused I still was, but also how part of me believed her. I said I wasn't sure if I could forget, but I might be willing to forgive. She broke down crying, and for the first time since her confession, I held her. Then I told her the truth. We weren't getting married tomorrow. Her face went pale, but I continued. We're not getting married tomorrow, I said, because I don't want to marry someone out of fear or pressure. But I'm not walking away either. I want to start over. No wedding. No legal paperwork. Just us. As real as we can make it. If it works, great. If not, at least we'll know it wasn't a transaction. She nodded, tears in her eyes, and whispered, that's more than I deserve. We spent the weekend quietly. No ceremony, no cake, no first dance. But something changed between us. We were raw and honest in a way we hadn't been before. It's been 3 months since that day. She's applying for a work visa again, without my help. She found a new job with an international nonprofit. We're still together, but we're taking it slow. No wedding plans. No immigration paperwork. Just trying to rebuild, brick by brick. And me? I'm not sure if this will work out. Some days I trust her. Some days I don't. But for now, I'm choosing to believe people can change, even if they started in the wrong place. It's messy. It's complicated. But maybe that's what real love is. Not perfect, just honest.